Hey, I'm Yacine Nagel. I'm a PhD student from the University of Grenoble in France. And what I'm going to present is a joint work with Jérôme Malik from the CNRS in Grenoble and Dade Harshari from the University of Washington in Seattle. So I'm going to talk about safety in machine learning from an optimization perspective. Here is the plan. I'm going to first point out some limitations of classical supervised learning regarding safety. I will present then the tools we propose to use for that method together with the Python toolbox we developed. And finally, I will give the technical details based on which this toolbox is developed. Alright, in a supervised learning context, you usually minimize in expectation a loss that depends on a given data distribution P. So you're given a prediction function phi, and you try to find a model W such that the loss between a given true value y and your estimation phi of W and x is as low as possible in expectation, where this expectation is computed with respect to some data xy that follow a distribution P. And in order to do so, you assume to have access to a sample of data points xy that you use to train your model W. And then, to test your model, you assume to have also a second dataset, and you hope that this dataset is sampled more or less from the same distribution. This is basically the usual assumption in empirical risk minimization. But as soon as your testing distribution may depart from your initial training distribution, you may find difficulties to maintain good performance with this setting, and this might happen quite often in certain domain applications. Take, for instance, next word prediction on mobile phones, and assume you train your model thanks to a given set of users, and then test it on a different set of users. It is pretty natural to expect dissimilarities among the phones. So this is the issue we are raising here when we are talking about safety. We are looking for learning models that provide better performance in case of potential distribution shifts. Okay, so let's see what we can do formally about it. So we start with a simple learning task like ordinary least squares. In ordinary least squares, you wish to minimize the square difference between the target variable y and your linear approximation w.x. And if you minimize this in expectation, you're actually giving the same weight to any of the possible outcomes of this square difference. We say that expectation is risk neutral. So if you are willing to bring some safety to your model, what you can do, and that's pretty natural, is to focus on the worst case outcomes of your distribution. And how to do so? You can simply define regions for which the outcome is considered as safe, meaning that your loss is low enough for them, and regions of interest for which your outcomes are considered as too large. And this is the type of performance that we want to avoid. So this is the contrary to outliers. Here we do not want to forget extreme points, but instead we want to learn model that better performs for them. So formally, if for a fixed decision variable w you denote as epsilon your loss at w, it's a random variable, and you want to focus on its high outcomes. So if you have access to all these possible outcomes, you can compute the quantiles of epsilon. And here I will call the definition of the quantile by stating basically that it's the inverse of your cumulative distribution function. And a simple way to express this risk aversion is to fix a safety level of probability p between 0 and 1 and consider only the quantiles that are greater than p by averaging them. So to follow the notations of Rockefeller, I will denote this as QP bar. This is called the P superquantile. It takes as an input a real random variable and it outputs a statistical summary of the tail of its distribution. The superquantiles in the literature can be found under different names, like conditional value at risk, tail value at risk, expected shortfall, etc. Alright, so another way to express risk aversion is to consider possible perturbations on your dataset. If you don't want to care about these perturbations, you can follow the empirical risk minimization principle, meaning that you stick to the expectation according to the empirical distribution of your training set. But if you wish to provide a solution that can be robust to possible changes of distribution, then you get into the scope of what's called distributionally robust optimization problems. These problems usually have a saddle point formulation. You design a set of possible distributions, often called the ambiguity set, and you try to provide the best solution with respect to the worst distribution in this ambiguity set. And this was actually our primary goal. The ambiguity set usually contains the empirical distribution, that's the center of the simplex, and when it's reduced to the empirical distribution, you recover the empirical risk minimization principle, and we say that there is no ambiguity. When this ambiguity set is defined as the whole simplex, then the worst case distribution is the one that puts all its weights on the worst case outcome of your loss, and you get a robust optimization problem. Now, if you take as an ambiguity set a set that is the intersection of the simplex with a ball with respect to the infinity norm, you actually recover the superquantile. Here, the ray of this blue ball is parameterized by the safety probability threshold P that is used in the definition of the superquantile. This result is known and can be proved through Lagrangian duality. When P is close to 0, the ray of this blue ball shrinks, and you get a little neighborhood around the center of the simplex. Having P close to 0 might be interesting often when you expect only small perturbations on the dataset. At the opposite, when P is close to 1, the obtained ambiguity set gets close to the whole simplex. That means that you allow yourself to consider distributions that put all their weights on the worst case. In other words, you increase your risk aversion. So to sum up the context of this work, we propose to replace the empirical average in supervised learning by the superquantile. And we've seen that the superquantile has two known interpretations. You can either see this from a primal point of view as the average of the tail of a distribution, or from a dual point of view as the expectation with respect to the worst distribution for a given ambiguity set, parameterized by your safety probability threshold P. This approach gives rise to many open theoretical questions, and in particular statistical ones. We focus here rather on practical application and try to answer to the following question: how a superquantile-based learning model can be solved efficiently. So here we will rather consider optimization-related questions. And one of our main contributions is the open source toolbox that we developed in Python for that goal. The goal of this toolbox is to minimize objective function that you can write as a composition of the superquantile with a loss that you can evaluate on a sample of data points. We propose here to do so by first-order gradient methods. So in practice, the user needs to bring two inputs. First, the implementation of the loss with its derivative, and second, the training dataset used to solve the problem. I give here an example for our least square regression. So for a single data point, the loss is the square difference between your target y and your linear approximation x.w. And you need to provide the derivative as well. And your dataset is simply a list or NumPy array of data points. After that, we provide to you a Python object that we call risk optimizer, and that handles the optimization procedures. This object is built on top of scikit-learn, the standard machine learning library. For those who are that familiar with it, use the risk optimizer object as any scikit-learn estimator, meaning that you first instantiate it and then you call the method fit to launch the training. The training can be performed by a first-order algorithm of your choice, including subgradient-based method if your function L is non-smooth, and gradient-based method if L is smooth. Gradient-based method like Nesterov accelerated gradient or Casimir-Newton, for instance. And finally, you can retrieve your solution from this object. So the documentation of the toolbox is already online. And let's see what it gives in practice. So here we compare the performance of empirical risk minimization and its superquantile counterpart on both a synthetic and a real dataset. So for the synthetic dataset, we generate data for a regression with a bimodal noise. That is, with probability beta, we take a standard normal law, and with probability y minus beta, a Laplace law with a shifted center. What we plot then is a histogram of squared residuals for both training and testing distributions. That is, the histograms of Ri squared as xi and yi ranges over the training sets on the left and over the testing set on the right. So what we observe here is that the superquantile model exhibits a thinner upper tail than the ordinary least squares, meaning that the worst case performance are better than the ones exhibited by the ordinary least squares. We try then a real dataset available on the UCI machine learning database. The dataset consists in a sequence of superconductors with their given feature, and the learning task is a regression. We try to estimate the critical temperature of the superconductor. And out of the 81 proposed features, we selected 10 important ones and ran at a least square regression using both the empirical average and the superquantile with different values for p, 80%, 90%, and 95%. So we'll produce on the table several metrics on the distribution of residuals for each method. So the superquantile shows better performance with respect to the upper quantile of this distribution of residuals. This can be seen as well on the plots, since the superquantile method exhibits again a thinner upper tail of residual than the ordinary squares. As we can see on this dataset, this can come with the price of lower performance on the mean of the residuals. So for the rest of this talk, I will present the ideas on which the toolbox is grounded. As a reminder, the main purpose of the toolbox is to propose fast first-order oracles for the computation of the superquantile to combine with a variety of classical first-order algorithms. The algorithm you can use depends on the loss you're giving as an input. So if you assume first that the input loss is convex, but not necessarily smooth, we propose subgradient-based methods. So we have seen this dual formulation of the superquantile, where your ambiguity set is this intersection of the simplex with this blue ball. But since the expectation is linear, you can see basically the superquantile as a support function of the ambiguity set. Now, since we apply the superquantile to a convex loss L, we can actually use the classical subdifferential results for max functions. When you look at the formula, it's basically a weighted average of all the possible subdifferentials, and your weights must be associated to the distribution that achieves the max in this problem. So resolution of this max problem can be achieved in linear time, which makes the subgradient computation quite fast. However, the solution set of distribution is not necessarily reduced to a singleton. So even if your input loss L is differentiable, we see that the global subdifferential can be non-reduced to a singleton. So your composition is not smooth. So what we propose as well is a smoothing of the superquantile based on Nesterov's techniques. You take the dual formulation of superquantile and you strongly convexify it. This in return smooths your function. And if L is also smooth, then your composition gets smooth as well. And you can, in the end, apply gradient-based methods. We propose a simple yet efficient procedure based on Lagrangian duality for the computation of this smoothed variant and its gradient. Basically, it comes back to compute a quantile of the random loss evaluated at W. You may have several choices for the strongly convex function D, and we prove this fast computation for the quadratic and the entropic function. That's all I wanted to say here, and I refer to the article for more information. Okay, so now let's recall the main message of this work. So in this work, we proposed first-order oracles for safe supervised machine learning based on superquantiles. We proposed a fast smoothing procedure to compute such oracle and a toolbox built on top of scikit-learn that combined this oracle with classical first-order algorithm. We are now investigating potential application of this work in federated learning, but that's another story. Thank you for your attention.